Good afternoon. And I'll try to keep the introduction. So yes, using a Mahara user. And one motivation behind a lot of things that I've been doing is how can I put Mahara in front of more people? So that has been one of the themes that has driven a range of occupation for the last few years. So I started with my portfolio.school.nz in 2011 and still have evolved at this stage. But I have I am working independently with a range of people, and we use a lot of tech. And one of the things that we do together is we work on projects. And one of those ways of working on projects, we were thinking, well, what tools can we use? And people use a range of tools working together, and said, I know how to use one really cool tool, and you don't have a choice because you're all using different tools. So why don't we use a Mahara instance? So we installed a Mahara instance, and we call it collection.com. So that's why this is what we do. So we thought we'll use this tool, and we like the idea of collecting information about what we're doing, which is an e-portfolio system. We like the idea of sharing what we're doing with others that we need to bring in to work with us. So we thought we can do this on Mahara as well. We can share our work. And the other thing which we like too is to publish what we're doing, because we like the products of some of the things that we do, and that Mahara helped us do this as well. So that was the first step into taking Mahara out of school. And then I was just thinking as well, when I've been talking with a lot of teachers over the years using my portfolio.school.nz, primary teachers, secondary teachers, they all love something. And what they like is they love their students. We all love their students. And then one thing that we've been thinking, if we love this much, let's set them free. And let's set them free to go beyond wherever we are taking away from their time with us within our four walls, no matter how wide and big our walls are, what are they going to go beyond this? And Mahara can enable that freedom if we think about it this way. So this is a bit of, the start of presentation is made of two parts, and hopefully there is time if I can create the gap to allow people to talk, because I'm not very good at doing that, is actually how two parts. One thing is a few questions on your use and your students' use of Mahara or whoever on your organization, and then a few examples on how we have been using Mahara out of school. And the idea behind this is very much, if I am using this with people in the world of work, what is it that we are doing that is actually really preparing, using a portfolio system like Mahara, our student for the world of work? So that's the type of thinking. So that's why are we developing portfolio skills with our students? Why are we doing that? So that is a question for you to answer me. So why are you doing this?
Students a record of learning?
A student record of learning. Helping people manage their learning. Student agency, taking ownership, having choice. So these are they are really big reasons. So is it to make our lives as teachers easier? Is it making our lives easier? Why is it not? Why is it not making our lives easier? So we've got a big goal, and big reason why. In the meantime, is it making our lives easier? Why is it not easy? What's hard if it's not easy?
I don't have to carry books home. Makes it a bit
easier. That makes it easier. That's very true. Is it what we've learned and what I've listened to again today is there's loads of ways to help get people on board using their portfolio. There's lots of ways of getting to tutors. So it's a long road. A lot of you who are all in your own ways champions of getting them to do something with it. You would describe your life as anything but easy when it comes to implementing this e-portfolio system. So we are really doing it to help our students. Yes? So that's if we're doing it through help our students. We are slaving over making sure that those skills are acquired, that are we actually demonstrating ePortfolio, helping students develop ePortfolio, some skills in ePortfolio, or is it the product that they are showing on the ePortfolio that we want them to develop? What is it we're trying to do? So, if it is really some skills and competencies that are needed in ePortfolio development rather than the actual product, which will be a neatly tidied up record of learning that ticks all the boxes of my marking schedule or my assessment. Are we doing it for that? In this case, are we making our life easier? Or are we actually helping our students achieve a higher level of competence that are around communication, around critical thinking, around organizing self, around all of the things that we actually are enabling our students to develop? And if we are putting all this effort, what use is this portfolio to the student when the student leaves? And there's a few questions that came to me. Do you archive these portfolios? So we hear this morning about, for instance, from Sam, talking about the students, thousands of students who develop a portfolio to lots of successes. And then, as you said this morning, as the other person asked, is like, what happens then? So are they sort of archived? So there's an ePortfolio cemetery somewhere. Yeah, that's what there is, okay? Do you keep users on your system? Do some institutions keep users on their systems? You do? Okay, and then, so do you know how they're using the portfolio once they are kept on your system? How long for?
Our policy at the moment is we will keep as long as if the student is using the portfolio. Yeah. So even if when they leave the Open University,
yeah.
The account will become independent from the university account, so they can have their own password.
Yes.
And they can change their email address to their own private email addresses.
So they can change the portfolio to another email address, and they can continue to add to this portfolio. Right. In fact, there was another question. I was a bit in that tongue-in-cheek thing. Do you care what they do? Because they've achieved your purpose. You wanted to give them a degree. So they've kept all that thing, And so what happens with this, it's something that obviously now I know. When I wrote the slide, a week ago, I'm thinking, well, for this. When I hear all the presentations today, I'm thinking, well, it's no doubt. Of course these people care. Okay, so what happens to these portfolios which have been built over time? So there's just more questions which are, so this is what I would like the answer to be in my head, because I can use an ePortfolio now. Should the answer be, we use ePortfolio so students develop a record of learning that they want to take with them and grow over time, so that we achieve not only the ticking all the requirements for their learning, but also have actually achieved this higher goal to actually develop in them and instill in them this willingness, that self-ability to grow themselves, which would be the dream way. And then they arrive in the world of work, whatever age they may be, having gone through a primary school, potentially this the dream of the myportfolio.school.nz. We're going from primary school to secondary school to university, having grown this wealth of thing, having gotten rid of stuff, not having left any cemetery of ePortfolio in any institution, because they could change this, and only Mahara can enable to do that. But they want to take it. It's like, I will do this because it is mine, and I will continue to do something with it. So that's a bit, that's a bit flowery and dreamy, but that's what I'd like to think could happen after years of looking at development of ePortfolio in schools, in tertiary, and so on, and looking at it close and personal. And that's where I think that if you love somebody, set them free. How can we enable learners to get to that stage where they have taken such pride in the process and in the production of this portfolio that they can actually come to you and say, how do I continue with this? And also, instead of the freedom, there was very much a point that was made in one of the presentations this morning, which was like, is it within the wall of an intranet on a server, or is there an opportunity that I can actually leverage some of the social networking abilities that are inherent to Mahara? And that I grew my portfolio at Solent doing the web, there was a course that you were there, and I grew my portfolio at AUT, and now it could be that actually we have a connection here. We've gone through the same learning principle. Can we connect? Do our work get together? So this is built in Mahara. It's not, let's have some more features to Mahara. It's as it is now. It's the real thing. And that's part of setting them free. So one of the reasons I totally quickly went to why we started Collection is because we were like all free agents. You know, you work on your own, you're a freelancer, so you're a free agent more or less. You still need to work with others because I only have a limited set of skills. So I can contribute and collaborate with somebody else with another set of skills, and together we're going to do something. Okay, and that's how we build more knowledge. I've got your skills and we've got that project. I need your skill to work with this. And I can do that, and because Mahara helps me do that too, okay? Because I have a profile page, and hopefully in a few times, you know, in not so long, I will have a badge which will show all the skills that I have, and I can find that badge on the Open Badge Passport. And not only I can find the people who are like similar to me, but better still, because I've grown all these skills in developing an e-portfolio, I can find the people who have skills which are complementary to mine. I'm not looking for people who are like me. I'm looking for the bits of me which is missing to do better things. And that's maybe something to think about. So the way I want to see it is that the world is catching up with the way you're thinking. Okay? And that there's more and more opportunities for people to get accreditation, certifications all the time they continue work. The minute they have finished within the 4 walls in which they have, of their own volition, stayed and worked and created an e-portfolio, graduated from, they then go to the world of work, and there will be opportunities for them to grow their career, to develop. They might go this way, they might go that way, they might do like Heath was asking earlier in the presentation, I want to create my own pathway, and I want to have my pebbles behind me so I know where I come from. You know the tale, don't you? And those pebbles could be the badges. This is where I've come from, this is what I know what to do. So the world is catching up because everywhere there are people here as well who work in learning development, in corporate, and in a range of ways. Learning is everywhere, and learning is forever. And this is why you work on developing learning for life skills in having an e-portfolio in your institution. So in my dream world, there will be an alumni which continues to grow their own portfolios. That would be the ultimate measure of success, that your portfolio effort and bleeding and tears is actually a result. They want to do it. And they want to demonstrate lifelong learning in action. It's not something that we are passive and waiting for, oh, there's my life and there's me learning. It's actually by doing it and rolling your sleeves that you will continue to learn. And then you would create communities of interest because, you know, in developing an e-portfolio, you might think, oh yes, I might get a job, but in fact, can I create my own job? I can do all that. I might not have to just wait for somebody to go past and look at my portfolio and say, there you go, come and work with us for this amount per year. I might think, maybe I go and do my own. And I put myself out there. And that's what my portfolio is for, isn't it? And that's where I will meet with the people that I need to meet to actually enable this to happen, and therefore undertake purposeful collaboration. And collaboration is not the word that looks fancy on the pamphlet or on the leaflet or whatever. It's actually something you're doing. And that is a move forward. And that's what you're growing with having all of your students using and developing an e-portfolio. So how have we used it? First of all, a few years ago, a few of us decided, we need a space. So we've been working on it. We wanted to open a co-working space. So there are several of us working on that, and we're all taking pictures, and we're all thinking ideas. We have Pinterest here, we've got lists here, we've got visits that we're playing, and it's all scattered. And so let's create, that's how we started to use a collection instance, Mahara. So we started to create a group in which we put all our ideas together. What will our collaborative space look like? And then we build the place. So that was where we went to collect together information that we could think of and share about how to build this space. And then part of this group is a collective of people, and that's called Venture Center. And what we do is we offer courses and programs and learn by doing events. So it's learning, but outside of the formal institution. So there would be people who would come and maybe take a course with me on how to use Twitter. Okay? Or they will come and do a program of 6 weeks, a few hours a week called Startup Kit. So they learn to use canvases and so on and so forth. And how do we get these people together to get them the information that they need? Because they work in a group, they all do these things in a group. So the minute they come and sign up for one of those courses, they get a collection account and they are in a group, and therefore they are meeting the others who are doing a startup kit. Or they are meeting the others who have signed up for a Twitter or a social media course or something like this. And all of a sudden they continue the conversation. Oh, I meet you there. Or shall I see you then? And it's quite social, but it's happening. This is putting Mahara in front of other people who've never seen Mahara before. In fact, they don't care it's Mahara. They're just using it because they've met some people that they're using. That is another group of people who don't even know that they're using Mahara, but they're using it virtually every week. And that's not the whole of the Institute of IT Professionals, it's the local branch, which is a new branch in the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga, where I live. And there's 12 to 18 people who are in a professional association who actually organize their meetings, keep their minutes, decide when the next meeting is, say when the next drink up is going to be, and it's all happening in collection.com, which is a Mahara instance. So these people here in this collection instance might actually be one of the person who signed up for a Twitter workshop, and he actually belongs into two groups and starts to see, oh, there's a lot of people here. And they're all seeing Mahara. Then there was a group of us, and because we have associated the word digital and tech to what we do, where was something like saying, oh, we really have an idea of what our town could look like. And Tauranga is not a very big town, but it's a developing town. Some of you might know of Tauranga, which is south of Auckland, for those of you who are not New Zealanders. And it's quite, it's the place where you used to go to and retire. Okay, because it's beautiful, it's the Riviera, everything is nice about. But, that just doesn't stay well with us, because in order to be a place to retire, you need to have generated a certain amount of prosperity before you can retire. So how can we match this? So a few of us decided, we'd really like to think together what a digital strategy could be to this. And then we thought, how are we going to talk about this? So we created a document, 5 pages. We said, let's crowdsource comments. And what did we do? We published it on our Mahara instance. So there were hundreds of people who could actually comment on the digital strategy, which is only, as we say, a document of opinions. And we had a whole range of people saying, yeah, we could do this, we can't do that. And therefore, we had a document which crowdsourced comments publicly. This was published with a public link and used on social media and so on. And we gathered that type of information, more people looking at Mahara without knowing it's there, but thinking, this is pretty handy. I can comment without having an account. Where can we do this? And everyone was extremely respectful in the commenting and in actually introducing themselves, which was a big learning thing for us. So this is Jeff. Jeff is a real real guy, right? I meet with him every week. We work on a project we've called Rubber Road, because this is the learning, it's when the rubber hits the road, when you actually do stuff. So Jeff is at the BOP, when I met him, he's a BOP Polytechnic student, an IT student. And when I first met him, he was wanting to find a way for his students in his group to be connected. So he said, oh, we've got collection. You can use it, just create accounts there. So he's been using this as a group. So the Bay of Plenty Poly doesn't know Mahara, but he's got 15 or 20 people that are organizing events for IT students on that group. Now he's in charge of teaching the web development course. And what he's really interested in is working with Venture Center in developing this program I'm talking about. And typically, we gather experience around this because we believe that professionals can have projects that IT students can pick up, and they just need to be published somewhere, like as a project board. So we're thinking maybe collection.com could be a project board as well. Who knows? It's in the making. The other thing with JP is now he's also an IITP a committee member because he's not a student anymore. So right now he's got 3 reasons to be on collection.com. And as it happens, within that, he's met quite a lot of people. So within the last 18 months, he has gone from being a student who has an idea on how to gather people together to an actual member of academic staff in any learning institution who's thinking, oh, I really like to change some things. And actually, if I found some real life projects for my students who need a client in the next 6 months, maybe this is a tool I could use. Pascale, can we talk about this? And the other thing is that really, he couldn't have done this and without the people he's met along the way, and he's put himself out there and widened his circle of people around him, also internationally, within meeting, people through being a Mahara member and on collection. And typically, you know, when I look at Jeff and why I've got Jeff here is I'm thinking, if it's the type of outcomes you're expecting to see for all of your learners, let's keep talking. And that's it. That was how we're using collection.com, but also why we're using it. So keep in touch. We got time for question or two, or?
A few minutes because we started late.
That's a good question. Thanks very much, Pascale. So, for a lot of those things that you were mentioning, you're using collection for.
Yeah.
The standard mindset these days would be, oh, let's set up a Facebook page or Facebook group. So, what's the advantage or disadvantage that you found going down the route you've gone?
So for instance, the first thing that really was crucial in doing, using Mahara is that we can store documents. People still use documents, should they be PDF or Word documents even, you know, or photos, which are like a whole, what you call gallery, videos and so on. You can find them and organize them on Mahara. You can't really organize them on Facebook. They are nice, but they get lost in the noise. So that's one way of collecting things in one place. And documents which are not necessarily, you know, high tech. So that's our number one reason. And the second thing is that, and that's one thing that I've talked with Aaron quite a few. Oh, he just walked in. Aaron, while you're there, it was, you see, if we using the group so that the pages can actually be worked on together. So that's something that you can create, that dashboard of activity on one page within a group. And Mahara can do that. The one thing, though, that I would say is that, you know, you're very, so don't be put off, you know, because don't be put off when you go to pricing. Just contact us. And the one thing at the end of this bookmark, it says, port your folio. Because the really one great thing about Mahara, and if you love somebody, set them free, is that Mahara is set to set your student free with the lib2a export function. Okay, and that you can be exported, or HTML or any of these things. But Mahara in itself is this open and flexible that you are actually, by the minute you are actually creating an account for your student, you are setting them free to do what they want with it. So come and grab, if you don't know how to export a portfolio and you'd like to know how to, that's at the back of this. Thank you.